We've had some offers in Canada, but one of our members is unable to go into Canada. So that stops that.
All right, let's get into that.
Yeah.
That'll make for a story.
Gotta
get a sub for Canada. That's all.
Well, we just played the Chapel of Bones one was really fun because one of the other girls from the other AC/DC tribute band came.
Wow.
And that was fun. She was really fun. Most people, they're going to go buy a ticket to Hairball because they just want to hear the 3 awesome Skid Row songs that were top 40, and they don't care about the other stuff.
So they're getting like a greatest hits concert,
yes,
you know, which is...
So I think bands like that, like that are
it's
doing
a buffet.
Like buffet
a
style.
buffet of music.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tribute Band Sessions Podcast. Don't forget to like on all of our social platforms. We're everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, everywhere.
Spotify, and Apple. We could keep going.
Yeah, we could keep going. Everywhere you want to
but
listen
you know what?
to us, we're there. We are there.
And we got Mike, and that's right. But we have an amazing guest today. It's Adrian Conner from Hell's Bells, the AC/DC all-female tribute band.
Yeah, right on.
Now, we're gonna let her sing that. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're excited. So
yeah.
where is she? Is she here? Let's go. Come on, Adrian.
Here.
Let's go. Let's get right into it. First of all, you're a guitarist. You're a singer. You're an actress. What don't you do?
I don't farm.
Windows.
Yeah, she doesn't farm and she doesn't do windows. Okay. Well, perfect. Then we won't get into those two things. But, you know, with all that said, like, how did you get your first experience with tribute bands in general?
I didn't know what they were asking me to join. So this was in 2000. Jahari and Amy Stolzenbach. That was their brainchild, was Hell's Bells, but they were going to call it Venus with Arms at first. It's a line in Livewire. And yeah, I asked am I going to be playing, you know, when I show up to the audition, should I learn any solos or what is this? Like, I don't know. And she's like, oh yeah, learn a solo, you know, just, you know. And so, yeah, I came to the audition. I tried out Hell's Bells, Back in Black, You Shook Me. I was like, oh, I got this solo on You Shook Me because I was like in my thing at the time, like, and I nailed it. And then I got in trouble for you know.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't think that her partner, Amy, she expected somebody to try out for rhythm. And I didn't know that I was supposed to be a person. So like, yeah, I didn't get tribute bands at first. So I did not get in right away. I got in about 9 months into the band. And yeah, my first experience was, what's that? What's a tribute band?
Right. You didn't even know about the scene or anything. You're just thrown right into it, right?
Yeah.
And they were already established when you joined? Was that the history, or just you were joining them when they were becoming Hell's Bells, right?
Correct. Yeah, they were trying to put together the band with, you know, all women, and that was really hard to do back then. It's still hard to do, actually. But we can talk about that later.
No, believe me, we're going to get into that because it is definitely, you know, it's an industry that's, when you see all women in the band, for me, I'm excited. I just think it's amazing, and I love it. But, you know, a lot of people will look at it, go, oh, well, how does that work? And it's like, what do you mean, how's it work? You know, it sounds freaking great. That's how it works, you know? So that, for me, is definitely, we'll definitely touch on that. But I wanted to find out, can you talk a little bit about your career, how you got started in music?
Yeah, I just kind of had some crazy immature pipe dreams of like, I'm going to be famous. Oh, I'm going to sing. You know, I mean, this is when I'm really young, like little, and I didn't know that like my voice wasn't good enough to really be a lead singer. But you know, I love music, and then I started learning guitar 13, but was like, ow, this is hard. It hurt. Like my mom bought me an Epiphone acoustic. They're really hard to play. But I stuck with it, and I started hearing guitar because I loved music so much. I started hearing guitar in the songs, like the Madonna songs I heard, listened to, and I love the B-52s, and so that kind of got me going. And then, the 90s hit with Nirvana, and the power chords, were becoming a thing, like 89, 90, and then L7 came out, and that was like, I could do this, because it's not, power chords, it's very accessible music. So yeah, I think I got in my first band that summer of 92, and we were terrible. And we played our first gig in the backyard and they had a party, and like the guys before us, they played Iron Maiden. They were like a metal thing. They might have been a tribute band too, come to think of it. I don't know. They did play Iron Maiden though, and I didn't know Iron Maiden at the time, so I led a sheltered music life.
But it seems like you grew up playing music. So being around the tribute scene, so how do you see, like, over the years, how many years has it been since you've been in this band?
25, 24.
25. I knew it was long. I didn't realize it was 25. So 25, you've been in the scene. So the tribute band scene has just blown up. I mean, today, and it's still growing and it's getting larger. Do you see it swinging in like one direction or opening up in different directions? Being around it, what do you see trend-wise is happening?
I just know that when people are like, maybe I should start a tribute band, I'm like, I don't think you should. Because, Hell's Bells was lucky to start when it did, because it was something that was like needed at the time, and I just don't think that, at least the way that we're doing it, where we're pretending to be a band, like, I think, be careful. It's just really difficult. But there's bands like Hairball. That's where you want to kind of go with it, because you guys know Hairball, right?
They do metal, like all metal covers, and just a combination of everything, right?
Yeah, like it's like all 80s. They have like 3 singers, and then they have the backup band, and they change costumes. And so how they roll is they'll get one of the guys out, and he's dressed up like Axl or whatever, and they'll do 3 Guns N' Roses songs, and then the next guy will come out, and he's dressed up like, Queen, like Freddie Mercury, and he does, you know what I mean? So you get the best of like songs from like, all these classic rock bands. That's what I see. Like, if bands are going to do stuff like that, that's cool, because it's almost like you're not going to go see Skid Row, you're going to go see Hairball, because we love Skid Row, right? They're like a great band. Like, you go see them now, they're very relevant when they play. They sound like a modern band. But most people, they're going to go buy a ticket to Hairball because they just want to hear the 3 awesome Skid Row songs that were top 40, and they don't care about the other stuff.
So they're getting like a greatest hits concert, which is
like, so I think bands like that, like that are
it's
doing
a buffet.
Like buffet
a
style.
buffet of music. Yeah, we had a guest on that plays in another band similar to Cold. It's a friend of Ray's. His name's Rudy. He plays in a band called the Classic Rock Show. He plays in a Journey tribute band, but aside from that, they're called the Classic Rock Show, and they're just amazing. They do everything from Deep Purple to Sabbath. They just do everything. But it's like a good classic rock show, just like you said. But they're playing the hits, you know what I mean? They're where I think you guys like are, I don't want to say, I don't know if the word is grandfathered into the scene, where it would be tough maybe for a newer band to start something what you're doing, and that's what you're saying. You got to kind of come up with a new concept or something. That's going to be a little bit different. Another question I would have would be like, obviously you're playing lead guitar in this band. So were you always a guitar player, or did you start out on a different instrument, or did you go from rhythm guitar to lead guitar? How did that all occur in your career?
Okay, yeah. So I always wanted to play lead guitar, or be the guitar. And so I started teaching myself Led Zeppelin songs, like, Get the Tab, and, and so I loved, at that time, Guitar World and Guitar Magazine, you would get the transcriptions, and it would be the songs that were actually popular at the time. And it was just kind of a whole thing. And so different now. And yeah, so I basically learning Led Zeppelin solos and like kind of woodshedding as much as I could between 16 and 19, 23, whatever, just working real hard.
Sure.
Yeah, went from Led Zeppelin to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then, of course, doing things by ear as much as I could. I loved all those hair bands. I learned like Extreme, More Than Words and Fly the Angels with Tab, trying to plan exactly like. Yeah, so that kind of got me on the way to, playing solos and stuff. And I left behind the more art song-based approaches like Nirvana and L7 and went
sure.
like classic rock. Wah! And I left like all like modern music behind from probably like 96, 95 to, 2003 is when I started hearing music again that wasn't so centric on like technique and blah, 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 and so, yeah, I totally missed like all the Radiohead stuff when it came out. Everybody's listening to Radiohead and I was listening to Heart and like
right.
My parents didn't listen to that stuff. So being a guitarist and hearing all these songs that were based on guitar, I just was like, went down that rabbit hole. And therefore, like the music that I write in my own band, it sounds really super classic rock because that's where I came from. So
yeah, that's the direction they grew up with. You're always wondering how the player ends up either in the genre of music or playing, a guitar player. You talk to a lot of different musicians that start out on a different instrument, piano or drums, or maybe they're multi-instrumentalists, but you're definitely that lead guitar player,
Yeah.
Especially in the band that you play with now. And then in your own solo stuff, I'm sure that comes out,
So with Hell's Bells, how's the venue sizes, and what are you doing? A mixture of smaller venues to private events and festivals? I'm assuming you guys probably get to do some festivals in the summer.
It's a mix, yeah. So if we're going to the East Coast, those are generally be smaller because we're building there and we never went there in the beginning. And so there's also like a lot of tribute bands out there that it's really difficult for us to get traction. So yeah, if we're out east, it's probably small. It's except for we have like one annual gig that's like a radio gig in Atlantic City, and that goes off. But we've been doing it for so many years. And then yeah, on our home areas like Oregon and Washington, all up and down Washington, that's where we're from. So we play a lot bigger type of situations. And like this weekend, we're playing Tumwater Beer Festival, like a beer tasting thing, which I'm into beer, so I'm excited about that. And then like last weekend, we played Chiefs in Nashville, and that was like a Wednesday, which is not very big. And we played Chapel of Bones in Raleigh, which was so cool. That is a really cool venue. They have a good thing going in Raleigh with that venue in like open chord stage and their smaller one, and played Newberry Opera House. And so, yeah, it fluctuates just depending on the time of year and where it's at in the US and stuff. But generally like West Coast, bigger, East Coast, smaller.
Are you getting a chance to do some international gigs?
Not lately, like the early, like 02, 03, to like 09, we were doing, like we went to Japan and we would play this Singapore Beer Fest quite often. And I think the last time we played it was 2012, maybe as late as 2016, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think 2016. But not really lately. We've had some offers in Canada, but one of our members is unable to go into Canada. So that stops that.
All right, let's get into that.
Yeah.
That'll make for a story.
We gotta get a sub. We gotta get a sub for Canada. That's all.
No, at least the band has traveled and, is able to travel, which is really nice. Do you guys do everything when you travel? Do you do plane? Do you do buses? Just a mix, a combo of everything?
We fly, yeah, generally, and then rent a car and then, do it like for the last weekend on the East Coast, we flew and then we did a lot of driving and then, took a couple of the girls to the airport, dropped them off and returned the gear in Nashville. And it can be like a whole thing. But when we're on our hometown, we have all those resources. So normally just rent a car and deal with it. But yeah, I mean, we live in all these different places. So it's a like Rubik's Cube in terms of how to make it work with expenses and stuff. As our drummer lives in Nashville. I live in San Antonio. 2 of the girls live in Washington State, which is good. And then Portland is where our bass player lives.
Okay.
So outside of the band, it's 4, correct? 4-piece. And are we dealing with management? 5-piece. Okay, 5-piece. And do you also have management and agency you're dealing with, a booking agency? Or
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So manager and booking agency, manager co-manages with me.
Okay. And what about like crew? Do you guys travel with some crew?
Oh, hell no. Yeah, can't afford that.
You handle everything yourself, which saves the cost, you know? And I would imagine when you do these fly-ins, they just do deliver the gear or backline, or you might have to go pick something up and do it that way, right?
Yeah, we try and find opening bands that will match the gear that we need somewhat closely. So we have a couple go-tos with that. And otherwise, then we, either have the resource gear at, like where it's at in Washington, and then like Nashville. And anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's definitely tough when you travel on the road and you're trying to save costs, when you're not in your hometown.
And the problem with it is you can't do the tribute band thing like during the week. I play in another original band that's on Joan Jett's label. And, we play during the week. We're in a van and we go every night. You can't do that in a tribute band. I mean, I guess you could, but you're sort of wasting your time. And even as an original artist, like the way the music industry is now, you have to be extremely famous to pull off a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday situation. Like Thursdays is kind of, pushing it, but should work. And then, mostly we get Friday and Saturday, and that's what we get to work with. And then, like sometimes there's a cool event on a Thursday, and so we can build it longer. Sometimes there's a cool event on a Sunday, and those typically can be casino situations. But like this last week, we had to play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We had to do it. And like not that many people want to come out on a Wednesday, no matter where the fuck you are.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's so true.
It's really hard for tribute bands to, because like everybody's at work, and the folks that are younger, they're not coming and replacing like when we were younger, right? Like when we were in our 20s, we're like, we're going to shows. We love shows. Okay, so like that's not how the younger generation is doing, at least rock and roll. I mean, I'm sure like, I know that there's like TikTok artists and YouTube artists, and those, really go off and stuff, but that's like a whole nother,
no, this is a different scene. It's more a weekend scene, and that's when they're going to pack the theaters or the festivals or the clubs or whatever. Being in, I call your tribute band definitely one of the most popular ones out there. That especially for AC/DC. Is there any like that you can share with Ray and myself? Any memorable shows you played where you're like, that was cool?
Well, we just played the Chapel of Bones one was really fun because one of the other girls from the other AC/DC tribute band came.
Wow.
And that was fun. She was really fun. But, there's not that. There is about 4 AC/DC tribute bands that are all female.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was cool. When the gals show up and you're in their turf, that makes it really fun. Just on itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because it's like another not it's a friendly competition, put it that way,
Yeah.
Which makes it great.
But I remember playing Wasted Space in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock. I don't think it's there anymore. But Vinnie Paul was there, and he had a table, and he was real nice, and he loved us, and that was cool. And just sometimes like you get there's this event in Colorado called FibArc. It's in Salida, Colorado. FibArc's like a river rafting event thing. Like, it's so fun to play that event. I mean, it's like the best crowd you could ever play for. I have it like pinned on our Instagram, what it was like, because it was these everybody was just pushed up against the stage. They're pushing each other into the, onto the thing. There's no barrier. So I love that too. I hate it when the venues put up the barriers. Like, it's not, we're not Nirvana. Like, it's not.
No, yeah. But here's the thing. I think they treat it like you are because, some of these places get so packed. And being in the genre of music that you're doing, AC/DC, it's rock and roll. People want to party, you know what I mean? So I think they need that. I mean, I watched a lot of your videos online, and you yourself, you're just an amazing front person with the guitar. You're out there. You're putting it out there with your lead singer, and so the fans react to it,
I see Fire Hazard. If I see people slammed against the stage, I see Fire Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be, where's the exit?
Yeah. This one was outdoor, but yeah, for sure. Like, yeah.
That's the truth.
How many shows are you doing per month?
We're doing probably the most we ever have, just because the agency we have now is able to get us stuff, and then also on the flip side, the members want to work too. So it kind of, you kind of have to have both in play. And so for all these years, it's either been the girls don't want to do it, or the agency or the agent we have, or whatever, it can't. Anyway, we got a good combination right now. So see how long that lasts. But probably like, I don't know, like 10, 12, that's kind of a lot. Like
a month,
I don't
right?
necessarily want every weekend to be Hell's Bells. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's a lot of shows though, and you said you're also part of Joan Jett's label on a side project.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just the guitarist, but I play in a band called Faya, and they've released 2 or 3 releases with Blackheart, and we've gotten to open for Joan a bunch of times, and lots of bands from my teens that I admire, where we get to be openers. So I get to see a different side of live music in America, like what it is like, you know what I mean? And like, okay, so yeah, I'm in a tribute band that's semi-successful, and then, I'm in an original band that, like, it's not like Crickets, are there, right. What I mean? It's like, we get to open for some people that really draw, and that's cool. And we get to build our audience, and we're about to come out with an album, and anyway, it's just cool.
That's a different scene.
That's great that you're able to balance, to do 2 different projects.
Yes.
And like Michael's about to say, it's a different scene.
Yes.
A whole different bird here, which is
very
cool.
lucky.
That's good.
So you got that, you got the tribute. How do you balance your home life? Because now, like, how does that work? Because touring life is crazy. I mean, Ray knows that, but it's just, how do you personally, how do you balance that?
Well, I think the demand for live music balances it. You know what I mean? Because so I think that it seems to be balancing right now, and everybody follows the rules in terms of hey, this is when I'm available, this is when I'm not available, and when you say you're available, you don't take that back. You know what I mean? Like, once so there's got to be those personalities that are reliable schedulers. Otherwise, the whole thing just not gonna work.
Absolutely.
Faya, like, we can't be playing on tour like all the time. You know what I mean? So there has to be chances where we get to get on to a tour with another band, or hey, we're going to come out with an album and we're going to tour this album really hard. So those kind of, you can't just go out and play shows for no reason way far away. You need to have like a way, like something like, we have a new album. You know what I mean? You have to have, and so that kind of puts things in a limitation too. And then the band for Hell's Bells, we're super popular in certain areas, but there's a whole lot of places where we're not popular. So when we want to expand to those new places, they need to be relegated to like once a quarter, if like at max, you know what I mean? Like, because it's we're going out far, it's expensive. We don't have the least amount of resources in terms of like finding the gear, having hotels, places to stay. Just the expenses are insane. So the pay is like a lot less, so it's just kind of, I think at this point right now, it's regulating itself.
Yeah. So you're finding that happy medium where you can balance it all. It's definitely not easy. And a lot of people, like you said, want to get into playing in a tribute band. I want to play, every weekend. And then, but do you have a job that you have to come back to? What does your rest of your week look like? Do you have a family? Do you have this, that? It's that balancing act, and you got to make it work. Because like one thing that you said that's super important that hopefully the kids watching out there will know, if you commit to something, you better commit and follow through, because that'll make or break your career,
Yeah, for sure. You need to be, you're reliable, and your word needs to be reliable. And there's so many people that we've worked with, or I've worked with over the years. And I mean, that can be, the reason why you don't get to play music for a living.
Or they don't get to play music for a living.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
It's very true.
But you do.
That's very true. The reliability is so important in this industry.
Yeah.
And your last minute situations too. You have to be able
you can't
to
be like,
respond
I got a
quickly.
better gig. See ya. It's like, okay, well, I can't.
No.
You just ruined like 7 other people's like income.
Yeah.
You just put all that into, so we can't work like this.
No, it's true. It's true. So kids out there, make note. But here's a personal question I need to know. What's your favorite AC/DC song to play?
Shoot to Thrill.
Ah, that was an instant answer. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's a
I love
killer
that song,
song
too.
Yeah.
It's got all the things.
It does.
Yeah.
It's so, and are you the one that makes the set list for the band, or is there somebody else, or is it everybody?
Nicole, the bass player, she puts a lot of thought into the flow. And like, what our biggest challenge is, there's about 15 songs we absolutely have to play. Like, so we get 5 ones we can change in and out and stuff. And so that's thought out very carefully. And yeah, she's I'm just like, I don't care. Just I just want to think about this.
Let me pick up my guitar and riff. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's your opening song? Is it the same song every show?
We switch it. Like right now it's Highway, but sometimes for a while it's been Hell's Bells, so we can, have the bell play and have the cattle call situation. We've tried other ones and it has not worked. Like those two are the what, you know what I mean? Like we tried Sin City.
I was going to say Hell's Bells would be a badass opener.
Yeah, we tried Sin City for one show. That was terrible choice. We tried Livewire, terrible choice. Livewire, though, is an excellent one to play after the encore, after the Angus solo. Fuck, it fucking kills then. It's crazy. It's weird how that stuff works.
It
the
is.
set list really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Set list makes a huge difference.
And you're playing with a band's catalog that's just killer. It's just amazing.
Yeah, because we tried back in 2013. I don't know, to do Judas Priest tribute too, because we did like one Halloween. We were like, let's do 45 minutes of Judas Priest, and that'll be fun for Halloween. And then our agent at the time was like, casinos want to pay you to do this. We're like, really? And she's like, can you get 90 minutes together? And we struggled getting 90 minutes together because they became these monster musicians like around 90 where you're like, I'm like, I can't play that. Like,
Right.
Painkiller like that.
Right.
But anyway, like our hardcore people were loved that we did it, but generally it did not, really go off. That's why we still don't do it. I mean, there wasn't enough interest from the general public to watch 90 minutes of a Priest tribute band.
Yeah, well, I think you have a handle on the AC/DC thing. So I think that's, it's working. Why mess with it?
Yeah.
What about, do you guys do like any meet and greets? Because I got to believe there's fans that want to talk to you, want to meet you after the show.
Yeah, we almost always go to the merch table. I won't say I always go, but I go. Me and the singer go the most, and then if the buyer requests the meet and greet, we'll do it. But typically, and I can do after the set, but I really would not prefer not to do before the set because I'm a introvert at heart, or I'm able to interact fine right now, but before the show, I'm got my eyes closed and I'm laying down, and I don't want to listen to anybody talk to me. If you do, it's just going to go through one ear. I won't even be able to. I just need to.
Yeah, because you're concentrating on the show. You know, you want to play the show. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be tough. So, where do you see the Hell's Bells going in the future, and where do you see the tribute band scene going in the future?
I don't have my crystal ball. I don't know.
I know, right? I mean, obviously, you're going to play more and more places. Goes, right? Yeah.
Just move forward with the band. See what happens.
I mean, I would love to do more international stuff. The tribute bands are everywhere now, so it's just kind of like everybody's got one kind of situation. So I think that might be why we are doing less international than what we were like almost 10 years ago. But yeah, I mean, I would love to go to Latin America, Mexico, and do down south for sure. But yeah, tribute band scene as a whole, I would just, like I said, I would just, advise against maybe not doing a band like you pretend to be that band, kind of situation, like try and get something a little more creative with that. But I just think that the tribute bands played out, to be honest. I probably not wanted to hear.
I mean, there is a lot of them. I like seeing the new, there's some cool creativeness going on right now. Somebody that I know, and it's taken off where they're doing really well. They're called the Magical Mystery Doors. So it's the Beatles, the Doors, and Zeppelin. So all three. And they do mashups of all three bands. So they're not just playing the song from top down. They're doing a mashup of all three. And they do a killer sound and light show behind them. And it's just blown up. They went from 0 to 60 in like 6 months. But because they're doing something a little bit different, and because they started late in the industry of tribute bands, I think that's what's separating them. And in my feeling, I think that's what you would have to do if you're starting today to separate yourself, in that scene. That's what I see.
How do they navigate having all that production too? Because like we're lucky, AC/DC is so meat and potatoes.
So the funniest thing is they came from, I know a lot of the players in the band, they came from one of the top cover bands out there that was already had that kind of production. But here's the thing that separates them. They actually do it all themselves. They don't have a big crew. They have one person, I think, or two. So they're loading the truck, unloading the merch, loading it. They're doing it all themselves, setting up the screens, everything. But they're doing it with the hopes that they'll build it so they can pay for the crew down the line.
Right, yeah.
Which is a smart business move,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's where I see the scenes going. But every day I pop up, there's another Van Halen tribute band, another Journey band, another Foreigner. It's crazy. I have to tell you, I listened to some of your solo stuff, Butterfly, killer song. And I love the fact that you put some time signatures in there, which to me was, you don't see that a lot in music, in today's pop stuff that's coming out and all that, But nice job on that, because I don't even know how, I didn't look at the date of the song, whether it's an older song of yours or a newer song or anything like that. Newer. It's killer. So keep going with that stuff, because I love it. Not just because I love it.
Is this a solo project, or is this a band project?
Solo project. Yeah, I do.
Solo project, cool.
Adrian Conner. Yeah, it used to be Adrian and the Sickness, and then it became Adrian Conner when the bass player left. And but yeah, I'm working on another album, because that's what you do when you play music. You learn how to, create your own work.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
you have to
keep writing. Gotta keep writing. Yeah, I love that though.
Yeah.
It keeps us fresh, keeps the mind young.
Yeah, and I like live stream on Wednesdays to keep my original music alive, because I don't generally want to get in the car and do shows and stuff, because I'm already doing Fea and Hell's Bells, so I'm like, I'll just stay. You can watch me on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and that's
what I want to tell you. Where can everybody find you online?
If you like Facebook, then it's Adrian Conner, Spaz Kitty, I believe. You can just look up Adrian Conner and you'll see a face that looks like this.
Right, with the guitar.
Yeah. YouTube, Miss Adrian Conner, and then Twitch. I don't know. I think it's Adrian Conner, Spaz Kitty too.
Well, we're going to put it all in the description below, so people won't have any problem.
Exactly. We'll list everything. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I look at the time and it just completely flew. I mean, you were such a great guest that we want to have you on again if you'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
I ran out. I like if you look at my notes. I don't have a sheet in front of me because I don't need it. Yes, I do. It's right next to me. But me and Ray, we always talk about this. We have so many questions for the guests, and we never get to them all. Thankfully, we've had some really good guests on that are just so entertaining and such a story to tell. And I'm looking and I'm like, I wanted to ask you this, and this, and just we're out of time. But that makes for part 2. So
exactly.
Yeah, right. I think we said it all. You know, this has been great.
Thank you,
anything that you want to say, Adrian? Anything you want to promote?
Man, I wish.
Well, we're going to list it. We're going to stay in touch, and we'll make it happen online. Yeah, thanks for joining us. This has been great. Thanks for listening to Tribute Band Sessions podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Want more info? Sign up to our mailing list at tributebandsessions.com. It's the best way to stay in the loop on upcoming episodes, special guests, and behind-the-scenes stories, and all things tribute bands. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials at Tribute Band Sessions. Thanks for watching.